Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the most underrated and overrated brawlers in the game right now. So with World Finals going on and the meta shifting a lot, I think there's a lot of brawlers which were definitely underrated by the pros and also a lot overrated by the pros, and also just people in my Power League games. You know, I've been grinding a lot and there's some brawlers that just really annoy me. So of course, before we jump into the video, make sure you're using the creator code. That'd be greatly appreciated. Without further ado, let's hop into it. Alright guys, jumping into the first underrated brawler on my list. I believe I did put Meg on my last one, but yeah, it is Meg. So I still believe Meg is very underrated. People are very harsh on her. I just think people are just quick to realize, well, quick to think back to when she was like really broken in the meta, when she could just run up against anyone and just delete them. But Meg finally has that purpose in the meta, and you know, her win rate as well is just so strong considering just what she's used for. So if you're wondering on how to utilize Meg the most, it is in knockout and bounties. So the main reason why you play her, I'm not sure on the exact hits, but I believe like a Piper or another long-range brawler will literally take 6 or 7 hits to kill a Meg fully, like out of mech, and then of course in her small form, and if you tank a shot with the hitbox gadget as well. That is a key point. Like, I know the healing is nice, but against those sharpshooters, it is pretty nice just to tank a full range shot. So yeah, but for that reason, Meg is just so strong. You see her banned out pretty much all of the time in knockout and bounty in the pro matches. In literally every scenario. Unfortunately, my teammates aren't backing me up here. Of course, Edgar is the one brawler I do not want to be facing off against in a 1v1. Let's see at least if we can build up our super back here. It's a little bit annoying because if it's like a ticket or an Edgar jumps on us, we're dead. There's nothing that we can counterplay with. At least Piper has a jump here, hopefully. Okay, nice. We got our mech back as well. We haven't got the best matchup to really shut off against because we're literally up against Edgar, Tick and Byron. Pretty free matchup for us. But yeah, overall Meg still very, I won't really say inconsistent, underrated. And when you look at the data as well, I think she was like the 20th most pick/ban brawler overall. So make sure to use Meg in the right scenario. Very strong in knockout and bounty against those sharpshooters. Let's jump into the next one. Alright guys, jumping into the next brawler, which I really believe is so underrated, especially within the pro scene. It is Brawl. So Brawl, like rewind back to, I don't know, 2-3 weeks ago, especially when I put him in tier list, I was putting him very high on the list. But when you have a look at what the pros really think about him right now, he was only banned/used 3 times in the whole of competitive, even in heist, which I'm very shocked about, because once you get a hypercharge with Brawl, you can just deal so much damage, especially in the right play. I think the only team that really believe in the Brawl meta is FUT Esports, and they actually, I think they won with him when they did use him. So a lot of times as well, like when pros pick, I don't know, like Jackie or, you know, if Rose is banned or something like that, I'm like screaming at them just to pick Brawl. He's so strong in the right hands, and he can absolutely pop off with that hypercharge. Just any hypercharge tank is just so strong, and you just need one good charge to really make things work. So I'm just gonna pop hypercharge here because I should just be able to walk this straight in without any worries whatsoever. So yeah, Brawl very underrated in terms of the pro players, but I think you guys probably know the power of Brawl. I put him in the 80s, so I really do believe that he's a super strong brawler in heist, Brawl, gem grab. I see him pretty much everywhere. Very strong. Let's jump into the next one. Alright guys, jumping into the final underrated brawler on my list, I went with Bonnie because I was very surprised again when I seen Bonnie's stats. I think she was used like 3 times in the whole of competitive. When you compare that to most, I would say pretty much ever since her release, she's always within the top 20 or 15 in terms of ban and pick rate, but she just wasn't used whatsoever. So I was just trying to think, like, why wasn't Bonnie used so much? So I think, of course, the big reason, she did receive a nerf to her projectile speed. Of course, that's a big nerf to her, but at the same time, I think the extra gadget gear has kind of stopped the kind of nerf for that, if you get what I mean, because you have 4 uses of the gadget and you're able to make more plays. I think maybe the one that concerns me the most is probably like Nani and Piper being so strong. I think probably those buffs really did hurt her the most, because I know Bonnie can deal with them once she gets her super, but I think they're actually good counters to Bonnie, especially because she's slow, easy to hit in that cannon form. So probably a big reason as to why Bonnie has kind of fell off within the pro scenes, but I think she's underrated. Like, surely she's still going to be very strong in Kaboom Canyon and Safe Zone at least. You know, she's going to be a decent option in Brawl Ball, Bounty, and Knockout as well. And I just think she's so underrated by the pros. I think they just kind of forgot about her. So that's going to be the underrated brawlers. Let's jump into overrated now. All right, guys, jumping into the first overrated brawler on my list, I went with Amber, and this is just a pet peeve of mine because a few times, especially within the World Finals, there was a few times where, you know, the pro team went Amber, you know, like Tribe, I think, for example, or I'm trying to think off the top of my head. There was another team that went Amber, and I was just screaming like, no, there was so many better options. And I just think she's just okay right now. She's definitely usable, but I just don't think she's that strong and competitive. Like, even on double swoosh right now, I just don't think she really has it in her. I think with all of these hypercharges going on, just she can't really deal with it. Any sort of aggression, Amber can't deal with. She's actually a really passive brawler. You wouldn't actually think it if you played ladder, but whenever people play her in competitive, she's very passive. She's kind of just waiting for her next super with that star power and then just slowly break and open the map. But with all these hypercharges being able to get into her face, she can't really play the way she used to. So for me, I think the only reason you would use Amber in this meta is to probably counter like Tara. I would say that's the best matchup for her. Other than that, I just don't really see too much use case for her. So for me, she's overrated, and especially when I made her tier list, like people were saying, oh, you're sleeping on Amber, she should be like A tier, B tier. There's no way. And also, I've got stats to back it up, not just myself speaking. Like, I just thought, you know, Amber's just not really the best anymore, but by the stats as well, she actually only won 1 out of 6 sets overall. So just going to show that she's got a really low win rate, not even that strong right now in the meta. I don't even know what it is about her. Maybe she just needs a little bit of extra damage, a little bit of a hypercharge, maybe. I don't know. She's really falling down within my rankings. Again, just trying to look at scenarios where she used to be good in. I just can't really think of any scenario. Like, people trying to use an last stopper as well. Again, she doesn't really offer too much. It takes so long to get her super and break open the grass, and people can just bypass that with all these hypercharges, the speed boosts. I don't know, she just doesn't really pack the same punch that she used to. Again, Hot Zone, Ring of Fire, also Dueling Beetles. I just think there's better brawlers than her right now that have a better super or something like that, better utility. But of course, she's not terrible. You can push her pretty easily, and of course, you can just be brain dead and just spam auto aim like me, and you're always guaranteed to get some damage. So she'll always be good at the lower levels because you can just brain dead walk up the map and just hold that auto aim button and get some kills just like this. But within the pro scenes, I think people are kind of sussed her out a little bit in this meta. Hopefully this Charlie can pass the ball over. No? Okay, you do you. Oh, okay. I thought she was really going to pass this over, or at least cocoon one person. But okay, 15 seconds left. Let's see if we can finish off this game right here. I've got a super to hand. Hopefully Charlie doesn't waste this opportunity this time around. Just pass it up to Rico, but I've got a super. I might be able to make something happen. Unfortunately, I didn't. But that's going to be Amber, the first overrated brawler. Let's hop into the next one. All right, guys, so jumping into the second overrated brawler in the game right now. And you guys might very much disagree with me because I'm kind of on the edge here. Is she overrated by the majority of people saying that she's really strong, or is she underrated by the pros? Again, I keep talking about it, but she was literally used once in competitive, once. So my biggest reasoning for this is, again, all of these hypercharge brawlers getting up into her face. She doesn't like that, right? She wants a really slow charge. She wants no action, you know, like Knockout, Bounty, where she can charge up this heat bar, and then she can actually be very menacing. But I just think for the most part, the reason why she's not good is, of course, she's got a terrible super, terrible hypercharge, and the slow movement speed. I actually think that's the biggest downfall for her, because you just, even though she has a lot of HP, just being a free hit a lot of the time, it's just not the best, right? Like, slow movement speed's always going to be a killer, you know. Think of 8-bit, for example. But the thing about 8-bit, you can straight away just deal damage to them. What is this Eggard doing? What are with Eggard's players? Like, he's just shooting at nothing. Like, is bro okay? Typical Edgar player. I mean, I'm just not surprised. I'm at it. But Pearl, for me as well, in competitive, she was used once. She did win it, but I just think there's a lot of better brawlers, especially with the supers and the hypercharges. Maybe she's underrated, but for me, I think by the majority of players, I think she's overrated for now. She definitely needs a little bit of love with her super hypercharge, and just remove that slow movement speed. It's just not needed. That's going to be Pearl. Let's hop into the next one. All right, guys, so jumping into my final overrated brawler, and you guys might kill me for this because I'm always in a cycle with Spike, whether he's underrated, overrated, but I think it is Spike mainly because, like, hear me out, just hear me out. It's going to that stage, right, in Brawl Stars, in Power League, there's always this one brawler which players just notoriously first pick no matter what, no matter the map, the bans or whatever else. This season is Spike. Like, he is a strong brawler and he's pretty good into everything, but he still has some glaring weaknesses. Like, he's a very squishy brawler, and especially in some scenarios, throwers can just dominate him. But for me, people are just going him no matter what. Like, you can't just do that with Spike. You really can't. I mean, he is a pretty strong. I think I put him in the S tier or even A tier. Like, he definitely deserves that ranking. But for me, it's more of like a counter pick option slash, I don't know, maybe an option to go like 2 and 3 in the draft or 4 and 5. I just think, if anything, he's definitely not a first pick brawler. So many glaring weaknesses. It's just annoying. Like, I'm trying to think last season what the brawler was, but typically, normally it's like Bo, Sandy, all of these first pick brawlers that really annoy me. This season, it just has to be Spike. At least now he has a hypercharge though, so, you know, there will be a moment where he can make a pop-off play for sure. This is more just aimed at my randoms of Power League. Like, yeah, he's a strong pick. I don't mind you actually picking him most of the time in draft, but please, just don't just insta-lock Spike. At least consider your options. Like, he's not like Charlie, right? Like, with Charlie, you can just insta-lock every single time, and I'll be happy with, but Spike, you can't really do that. Enough rambling. I think you guys can feel my pain, right? I've been playing too much Power League at the moment, and it's getting to me. All of these dumb randoms eventually get to me. So, nice spawn trap here from my teammates. I can get the hypercharge here and get the kill onto Rosa, and that's going to be an easy walk-in and a goal for us. I actually wasted a gadget there. I thought we just won that game, but we've got 25 seconds left. That could come back to bite me here. So I switched out vision gear as well. That would have been really good against this Rose. We're going to pass the ball up to Nita, but that's going to be an easy walk-in and the final goal of the video. So let me know down in the comment section below who you think is really underrated and overrated. I just thought I really had to do this video, and I apologize for the dog barking. Of course, he's barking when I'm trying to end off the video, but that's going to be it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.